A day with my grandfather was always rewarding. He would always give me something to leave with, that one piece of advice, that golden nugget that just increased in value over time. He would say to me, "Son, always pick your battles small enough that you can win, but big enough that they matter."
Thank you. I want to share a story with you guys today. And it's a story I'm not really proud of, but I'm very proud to bring it to you. It's about making the right decisions at the right time with the right things in mind. Knowing the difference between a battle and a war. When I returned home from the Gulf War in 1992 to my hometown of Jacksonville, Texas, one night a friend of mine and I were out, just enjoying ourselves. He had been away in the Army, I had been away in the Navy, and he was in Europe, I was in Japan, so we hadn't seen each other in a long time. And as we were riding around, he began to tell me about this young lady he'd met earlier, and man, how fine she was, and the whole nine. And he wanted to go pick her up. So we did. And after riding for a little while, she had to use the restroom. So we stopped at this gas station so she could go use the restroom. And it was second week of December, so it was close to Christmas. And it's really cold. And when we pulled up, I noticed two guys arguing. And I just, in the Christmas spirit, I said, "Hey man, won't you guys chill out? Now's the time to get along, not fight." And one of them looked me right in the face and said, "Fuck you, nigger." Oh, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. And I was thinking that too. So I didn't take kind to it, of course. And I'm sure I said a few select words to him. I don't remember exactly what, but you can only imagine. And he ran up to my car. And I had the window only halfway down because the last thing I wanted was for him to run up and punch me in the face while I'm sitting in the car. Well, after a couple of minutes, I asked him to politely move away from my car. And he continued to tell me, the nigger, what he don't have to do. And underneath my seat was a firearm. And my right hand was clutching the firearm, and my left hand was on my door handle. And I quickly opened the door with enough force to push him back. And as he stumbled back, I got out of the car. And he rushed back up to me. And I didn't know until then that he was quite a bit bigger than I was. I'd say probably 6'1", 6'2". And I slapped him with that gun. And he fell to the ground. And because it was so cold, it hurt my hand, I dropped the gun. Well, my fear then was, well, I can't let the guy that I just hit shoot me with my own gun, so I'm scrounging to get to it to make sure he doesn't recover the gun before me. During that time, the buddy that's with me, he gets out of the passenger side. Little did I know, he had a handgun. And the service station attendant saw his gun. And of course, she quickly called the police. Within minutes, the police was there. And so happened, it was an officer that knew me. I was, at times, I was a substitute teacher, and he happens to be the patrol cop for the high school in my town. And so when he arrived on the scene, he came to me and he said, "Carlos, do you have a gun?" I said, "Yeah." "Yep." He said, "Well, where is it?" And I told him. And he went to my car and he got the gun. He came back over and he placed me under arrest. Had me sit in the car. And he talked to everybody else that was on the scene, talked to the service station attendant. And after 30 minutes or so, he came back and he said, man, why did you hit the guy with the gun? And I explained my anger and that he was bigger than I was. And I felt like at the time, that was the right thing to do. As we rode to the police station, he was explaining to me how I had a great opportunity. He heard I just came home from the military, and I just received employment from Union Pacific Railroad, and he was trying to understand why I would ruin all of that for one person. And still, I was angry. I said, man, did he tell you what he called me? He said, yeah. He said, but man, you have to learn to overlook that. And of course, I didn't want to hear anything he had to say. So, I spent the night in jail. The very next morning, we went from Jacksonville to Rusk, to the county jail, and that's where you do the formal bookings and whatnot. And no soon after that, my mother was there to bail me out. Of course, that's when my biggest fear hit. What is my mom gonna say? And I was embarrassed. As soon as she finished talking to me in a fashion that I probably don't care to repeat to you guys, she explained that we're gonna go ahead and walk across the street and talk to the judge right now. And we did. And just so happened, that judge knew my grandfather, also a judge. And he then said, Carlos, with all the opportunity you have, why would you take a chance on ruining that? And I couldn't say anything. Because by then, the word nigger didn't mean the same as it did last night. Because all night, all I could think about was, I'm in this cold jail cell, sleeping on concrete, and that guy's at home with his wife or his girlfriend or whoever. I quickly realized he won, not me. Now, I could go on around and brag about how I hit him, but the one hit or the one punch or the smack with the gun could have cost me everything. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. So the judge began to explain to me that because I did hit him with a gun, that could be 20 years aggravated assault. It's kind of a big deal. In Texas, an aggravated case at that time, you have to serve 85% of your time to be considered for parole. That would have been about 17 years, 17, 18 years for one hit. One hit. Maybe I didn't win. But the judge explained to me a couple of things I could do. And we'll act like this never happened. And of course, I followed his instructions because it became real to me how quickly everything I worked hard to accomplish could be taken away. From Rusk to Jacksonville is 13 miles. So after talking to the judge, now I have to travel this 13 miles with my mother. Just she and I in the car. And I knew what that was going to be like. And not pleasurable. Needless to say, it entailed, as soon as we get to Jacksonville, you pack your stuff and you get back to Houston. Now. So while I'm at home, the phone rings, and it's the chief of police. And he said, Carlos, I want you to come down. I want to talk to you before you leave, because I know you're going back to Houston because I know Alice, and I know what she's already told you to do. So I go to the police station. And he wanted to show me the police report, the statement that the buddy that's with me had written. And the statement basically said that I purchased a new gun and I said I wanted to kill me a white person and blah, 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 blah. And if anybody knows me, that's not even anything I would say. But it just goes to show, had charges been considered or pressed against me and I go to court, the one person that should have been favorable for me and my witness, this is the statement that would have condemned my fate. But on that ride home, my mom explained a story to me. She shared this story, and I shared it in my book, Life is Not Complicated, You Are. But when she was in college, her freshman year of college was the first year of integration, and she was the only black on the basketball team. And of course, possibly the best player, if not one of the best for sure. And how they would travel to play games, and she would most times be lead scorer, battling for a team that didn't like her because of her skin color. After the games, they would go to restaurants that most times would be white only. And so she would have to eat on the bus, all by herself. And I became angry just listening to the story. I thought, how horrible. You just went out and poured your all for a team, and you can't even sit down and break bread with them. How horrible. And she said, if you're mad, you don't understand the essence of the story. Because had I acted the way you acted, you wouldn't be here right now. She said, that was a battle. I faced a war. You can't get so caught up in the battle and lose the war. You have to know the difference between a battle and a war. Because you see, yeah, I won the battle perhaps, but had I lost the opportunity with Union Pacific Railroad, I would not have been an engineer. I would have served prison time. I wouldn't be before you now sharing this story. There's so many things that would have been lost, all because I won the battle. Sadly, today, I don't even know the guy's name. If I saw him right now, I wouldn't know who he is. But I can't allow anyone, be it him or anyone else, to take me out of character and lower me to who they are, especially when I have a whole lot more to lose than that person. And only you know what you have to lose. And what's sacred to you. And I don't think anybody would purposely surrender things that they've gained or earned just to go to prison, just so you can say you want to fight. Thank you.